Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my Paycheck 1 closeout and setting up my Paycheck 2 for the second half of the month. We get paid twice a month. The end of the month, on whatever the last day of the month is, that goes to the first of the next month's bills. And then mid-month, which is the 15th. If it falls on a weekend or holiday, it may be bumped up a little early, but I won't count it until the 15th. That way I have a consistent rhythm for month to month, and all the bills and expenses are taken care of that way. So I like doing it this way. It's fine. I'm used to doing it years and years ago when my husband was active duty. We got paid twice a month like this. So it's very familiar. I'm a little rusty, so it's been a little bit getting back into the groove of it after having, I think, about 6 years of having 3 paychecks a month, or 3 paycheck periods a month, I should say. We get more than that in a month, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're going to look at how close we came to this $2,201.41 as far as what we spent during Paycheck 1 and bills, and then these extra things, as you're going to see here, that we're going to talk about. So I'm excited to get into this and let you know what happened for the first half of March. Before I get started, I do want to thank everyone who's been making comments in the comment section below. I have several people who have been commenting on a regular basis, and it means a lot to me, and obviously it helps the algorithm, but I truly feel very special when you guys do that. I have a list of names. I want to put them up on the screen, but I want to read them off to you, of everybody that's commented in the last 3 weeks or so, and just kind of go through their names. You can take their name and find them if they are a budgeting channel. Not everybody is. Some of them are just people that watch and don't have channels for themselves. But we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and read these. Cash Monet Budgets, Donna Joe, Miss Trini Marine for Life. Love you, girl. Budget for Life with Paula, my new best friend here. She lives in North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina and Raleigh. You know, it's been really cool having those conversations. 40 and Broke, Leroy, you know who you are. You know I love you, man. You're awesome. Lakea Clark Cole, Amanda's Path, Budgeting with Tracy, Ange Budgets and Debt, LT, Wilma, aka Stitched by Jean, Red Jordan, Terry Abisher, Go Budget Boo, April Renee 715, Cash Mama Bear, love you, Emily Budgets, Amber Tilly, Tracy Turner, Mind Your Money with Tasha. I love Tasha. She just had a baby recently, and I hear all the coos and the waking up sounds of a little newborn. It's just so sweet to hear. Brandy Lawson, Katie of the House. She's a new one I've been watching regularly. Like every time she puts out a video, she does hers on a spreadsheet. I really like hers. And Miss M. Rice and Patty's Purse. So I really like all of those budgeting channels that are budgeting channels, and then those that don't have channels. I really love the fact that you guys are commenting and just brightening my day and supporting the channel. So I want to say thank you for all that. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I do have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers. If you don't mind shouting out my channel as well, I would love that. You guys are just amazing, and I love this community. So let's go ahead and dive into this budget for Paycheck 1 and Closeout and Paycheck 2 setup. So first thing I want to say here is my husband got a bonus. I didn't write all of the bonus in here mathematically. I just thought, okay, I'm going to immediately put it in, most of it into savings, and there you go. So the bonus my husband got was a very substantial bonus. He worked at the Bluegrass Army Depot as a civilian contractor during a time when they were destroying chemical weapons. And if you saw in the news last July of 2023, the last chemical weapon in the United States was destroyed at this particular facility. Now, he was their IT guy. He ran the network and the computers. So he made sure all that was working properly. And he was not at work the day it happened, but he was was employed by this company during this time. And anybody who worked on that day got a bonus when this last chemical weapon was destroyed. And when they destroy it, basically they just neutralize whatever the chemical weapon was, and making it less harmful or less toxic. It wouldn't do as much damage as it would if it was like something worse. So we're talking like serious chemicals that if it was aerosol, it would do a lot of damage. So this was happening because of a treaty that was signed, I believe. I don't have actual confirmation other than the fact what I was told. I believe in the 80s with Ronald Reagan. So it was a treaty that started years and years ago in the 80s, and it's taken this long to 2023 to get all of our chemical weapons destroyed. So that's a lot of chemical weapons. And there were several facilities that were doing it, not just this one. So he got a bonus. What you're going to see here is what I kept in the checking account of that bonus. And then you're going to see other things that I used that money for as well. So let's start with the income section. Okay, that's a lot to talk about there. So we have several streams of income. Almost 90% of our income comes in on the first of the month. My husband gets paid twice in a month, the middle of the month, and then the end of the month. So I'll show you in a calendar. I don't show it on my calendar this way, but he gets paid at the end of one month, and then I use that money on the last day of the previous month for the first of the next month's bills. So basically it's the 1st and the 15th of every month that I'm using the money, but the paycheck actually happens the night before the 1st of the month. So whatever the last day of the month is. So mid-month and then end of the month, or actually here's the end of the month for paychecks. That's how they work. He only gets one paycheck here. His paychecks are $1,327.21. It's not a lot of money. Most of his money comes from other sources. He was active duty Navy for 20 years and then 5 years for a contractor for the Navy. So we've been a Navy family for many, many years, and kind of miss being around Navy, but really like where we are now in Kentucky. So that's pretty awesome. So my husband gets a military retirement check. He also gets a VA disability. After all those years, he's kind of broken, so they compensate him for that. I did balance forward from February. Whatever leftover money was in February came over into March, and this was what was sitting in the checking account. So there's those three income amounts. And then rent, our son pays rent, and then any dividends that hit our checking account, because it's a credit union, and it's only like 2 or 3 pennies a month. It's right there, added to my son's rent, just because I don't want an extra line for 3 pennies. That doesn't make any sense. And then my husband's salary on the end of February, the last day of February, was $1,331.36. And I just put it in the 1st of March's income. I don't count it until the 1st. Even though it hits the last day of February, that's okay. I'm just going to count it for next month because you can't use it for your previous month's bills. You have to use it for the next month's bills. So other here, I put $2,164.08. So now I need to total up all this income so I know how much cash we're actually working with in the first 14 days of the month. Whew, that's a lot to say. All right, I'm going to total this up and I'll be right back. All right, so we're working with $10,274.18. Now this $2,164.08 that was part of the bonus. This is what I left in the checking account that was left over in the bonus. Okay, so I'm going to write this total down over here. 10. You know what? I'm going to fold my notebook because I don't need paycheck 2 just yet. Here we go. 1027418. Okay, that was paycheck 1 time period money. There you go. So everything that came in or was left in the checking account at the 1st of the month from the previous month. And that's what I had to work with this month. Now, I did highlight in purple that kind of matched the rest of this stickers I put on my page when things went up. So food bank, I had $95. The only reason it went up is when I went in to adjust for the food bank, I decided, and my husband and I decided for the food bank, we would pay the processing fee for that $95. Part of it, we pay for processing fees as well. So the total included the $95 and then just the 6 cents. So it was an odd adjustment, but it was fine. This is what the new total is going to be every month, and that's fine. This one I don't, it doesn't work that way, so it was fine. And it's because I use a credit card on this or a debit card or bank account or something like that. Each company and each giving organization is completely different, so it just really depends on how they process and what they do use as their processing. PHC Tithe, Pregnancy Help Center here came out the same. Tithing, again, when I put 134, there's a processing fee just to use my debit card, so it comes straight out of the checking account. So I just decided to check off that I would pay the processing fee, or my husband and I will pay as part of our giving. And that way the church has a little more money for what they need. And this is tithing the salary to the church is what we're doing here. And down here, HP Instant Ink went up $7, went up a little bit. It's from $6.35 to $7.41. So that's what I have highlighted there. Everything came out as usual. The mortgage, this includes our principal only payment. And it's my favorite debt payoff by far so far because I get to see the interest change and all that stuff every, I think it's the second Monday of every month, or like at least the first Monday after I make my mortgage payment. I usually have a Mortgage Monday once a month video, and it's become very popular and people really like it, and I love doing the Mortgage Monday. I was inspired by Nija with Budgeting the Bacon, and she's an amazing person, so that's where I got my title from. Spectrum, 171, Amazon Music stayed the same, Paramount Plus, Gym. This is Greater Europe Missions. It's another tied to the VA disability, and that doesn't change. We've been tithing with this organization since my husband retired from the Navy, so six or 7 years now. So that is awesome. Our water came out, YouTube, again, and then Geico. So I'm going to total all these up and come up with one number on this column for expenses, and then this, we'll get to this in just a second. All right, so over here in this column, I have $3,539.09. Okay, now I need to fill in what all these, the first 2 weeks or 14 days of the month, what we spend in the first 2 weeks. And I already have the numbers kind of written down, but if you want to kind of calculate that or know where I got my calculations from, it comes from my weekly check-in. So whatever I spent in grocery household here, so if I can get everything on the screen here, $323.49 plus the $328.18. Let's pray it actually came out the same. I had $651.67. Yay, it came out the same. Okay, I did my math right. I'm always afraid when I backtrack if I'm going to mess it up or something like that. But this is where I get the numbers from. I can add this grocery household and that grocery household, and it gives me exactly what I spent for the 2 weeks that we did our weekly check-in. And that's what happened during Paycheck 1. So that's what we're going to do here. And let's go ahead and get that back. And I'm just going to fill the numbers in because I already have them written down and save a little bit of time. Okay, so I have all my numbers down. Grocery household, like I said before, $651.67. Restaurants, we spent $219.82. So we're under for the paycheck period, which is nice. Miscellaneous. Okay, I'm back. I said something wrong. I actually didn't change these when I should have. I put $250, I think. I wrote the wrong numbers down. It was supposed to be $200 because I only gave myself $100 a week. And so I changed these numbers and I changed this because I remembered this was over budget. And I was like, wait a minute, that says it's under budget. I was over a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. I had enough in the account to cover everything. And it's not over by a lot. It's just $19.82. But I'm going to be cautious and, try to stay within the $500 I put for the entire month. Let's see. $194.32 for miscellaneous, which is good. It's right under that $200. Gasoline $64.29 for Paycheck 1, and then I spent $25 in copay only, and no unbudgeted. And there was a lot of reasons why I didn't do unbudgeted. Several things happened. And I could have used some of this in unbudgeted, but I decided to put here on Paycheck 1. And I promised I would talk about some of this stuff. So I have talked about we owed federal tax. I just moved the money into my account. And from savings, I took it out of just our overall savings for the home projects fund or whatever I called that. And so this was already in the account, and then federal tax was paid. Then Vivint, I had to buy a couple of smoke detector, CO2 detector combinations. So they have an expiration date on the filter that it uses to detect CO2 and stuff like that. So we've had Vivint since 2019. This is the first time I've had to replace anything. And back then you had two separate devices, a smoke detector and a CO2 detector. Now you have one device, and so I'm not sure what to do with the extra smoke detectors, but that's okay. It was $106. I had to buy one, get one free or half price or something like that. I can't remember. Anyways, I got two CO and smoke detectors combination. A combination CO and smoke detector. I got two different ones of those. One went in our basement. One is upstairs here in the house. And so that was $106. So that breaks down to $53 a device. That's not so bad. And then NutriSense. I don't know if you know what NutriSense is. Last video, I talked about being a type 2 diabetic and looking for things that don't aggravate my neuropathy and stuff like that at the grocery store and using Atkins products and stuff like that. NutriSense is a sensor that you attach to your arm or somewhere on your body, and it has a little tube that goes in your arm, and it's a continuous glucose reading. So I get to see my blood sugar and how it spikes and what food spikes it, and try to get it back into normal range when I eat, because it goes into the red every time I eat because of what I'm eating. So I'm really trying to get that kind of I'm really trying to retrain my brain to understand what food is doing to my body and do what's best for me. So without knowing my glucose levels, because I am terrified of needles and I cannot bring myself to prick my own fingers and do my own glucose testing, I bought this, and my husband was like, oh yes, you need this so bad. It's $265 for a month for the sensor and a coach. So I'm excited about that. I've already talked to the coach. I talk to him once a week. And it seems like a pretty good program. The sensor itself is worth it. I could not go through insurance because I'm not insulin dependent. So I have to go out of pocket anyways. I might as well get a coach with it. So that's what I did there. NutriSense for $265. Again, that's going to be monthly. And I signed up for like 6 months. So that's what I have there. And then Visa Go card. That's my husband's cash card that, you can transfer money and have cash on it and use it like a credit card. That card he's used for years, and that's where he puts his personal money. So when he spends stuff, it doesn't actually affect the checking account or the bills. And he knows exactly how much he can spend. He doesn't have to ask. He knows because he has his own money. And then that was $300. And that came out of that bonus that my husband got. So he kept $300. I kept $300. This is where got the money to pay for my autographs when I went to Lexington Con. I talked about that in my weekly check-in. There was a Lexington toy and convention and toy thing where celebrities were there to do autographs, and there were wrestlers and actors and athletes and comic book people and writers and artists and all that stuff. Voice actors were there. It was a lot of fun. And my son and I, if you've seen my channel, you know we go every year. Usually we go to Raleigh to GalaxyCon, but this year I can't afford it and a lot of things are happening. So we just did one day at this Lexington Con and had a great time. I used my $300 personal money and that was great. Now, another part of the bonus, we decided to give to a missionary at our church who is going on missions here pretty soon. And so we did a one-time donation for $1,517. Again, we pay the processing fee and then they get the rest of the money. That is everything I need to total up here. So here we go. Let's total this up. Okay, so we spent in this column $4,653.12. There we go. A lot more than what we had planned on, but that was just because I added all these extra things, and it was fine because we added more income at the top in order to do it, and we're good with that. So let's see what our actual balance forward is from Paycheck 1 to Paycheck 2. This is what the estimate was, and now we're going to figure out what the balance actually is. We have $10,274.18 minus the $3,539.09 and minus the $4,653.12. There we go. So we're very close. It's less than what we planned to roll over, but we're still within $2,000 range, and that is excellent. So I'm going to balance forward the $2,081.97. And praise God, it actually matches my notes. Oh, I'm so thankful for that. Sometimes I do this and the number comes and I miss a number or I transpose a number, and sometimes it just drives me crazy. But we're moving on. Okay, so we have the balance for $2,081.97. Now my husband's salary was a few dollars a few dollars less than the previous month, but they all were tax related, and it was just because there was an adjustment in part of the county taxes. So my husband works for the state, and when he travels into different counties, he has to pay, and works in those counties, he has to pay county tax. So it comes out of his paychecks. So they were just basically, because he started working this past month, they had to do a little bit of tweaking and adjusting. So this is what this paycheck on the 15th of March totaled, which is $1,327.21. So there we go. That's the salary he's getting this paycheck. And then now, but I also see a pending deposit. So my husband did not follow up and check and see if our military retirement paycheck, if our military retirement income that comes in Virginia, we had to have it taxed. So we had $70 pulled out every month when we lived in Virginia to cover the minimum amount needed for the tax. When we moved to Kentucky, he put in the information, he told them to stop it. They didn't stop it. So we had to get all that money back. We actually got all but $20 back. So I don't know where that's going to happen, but we'll work on that as time goes by. But every month from now on, I have to find out, I'm going to have them check, did they stop it? And every month we're going to have to tell them, please stop this, because we live in a state that doesn't charge tax on anything over $31,500. I think we bring in $25,000 for military retirement for a year. So it doesn't hit that threshold, so the state of Kentucky does not tax the military retirement check. Oh, it's a mouthful there. So we got a refund, our money back of $820. I think it was $840 that they took, if I'm not mistaken. 70 times 12. $840, yeah. So they're $20 off. We'll argue with that with them later, and we'll figure it out later. So no big deal. Okay, so now we are going to total up the income we have for Paycheck 2. Okay, so we are working with $4,229.18. And this is why I budget, is because I know the second half of the month I have bills to pay, the 15th to the end of the month, and I need spending money as well to maintain the household. And so making sure you stay within the budget as far as Paycheck 1 and not overspending. Like, we had $2,000 left over, but if you saw that and you're like, oh, I have $2,000 left over, I get paid next, this weekend, I can spend that. No, you still have bills you have to account for. You have spending that you have to account for the second half of the month. So always keep in mind what you need if the next paycheck doesn't cover everything. So for us, the next paycheck is not going to cover everything. I have not decided on what to do with this $820 quite yet. I might just leave it here in Paycheck 2, because in April I want to start not balance like I did last year and not balance any money from the previous month into the next month. I only did it this month because this getting paid twice a month and what the new pay is different, and I wanted to make sure we had enough money. And I didn't want to move back and forth to savings and back to checking and savings and back and forth several times. I just wanted to, just kind of let it be smooth. So once a month, I would like to move whatever's left over in the checking account into savings when it ends. And then that month ends. So only use March's money in March. Only use April's money in April. Keeping in mind that the last paycheck of the month is used for the next month. So I'm considering it the next month's money. So now that I've said all that, let's go ahead and write down and plan out Paycheck 2. So sinking funds, I have plans for sinking funds. It was $443.90. I have been making sinking funds videos again, so you might want to check those out. And if I have anything to talk about with savings and where money's going in savings, then I will talk about that in that video as well. AT&T, 4 adults, 4 phones, 2 with leases and stuff like that. It's $282.61 taxes. This phone, AT&T, has the best signal in the rural area that I'm at, and it works the best for where I'm at. If I use any of the others, they don't really work very well out here. They don't have a strong cell signal and stuff like that. So yeah. And we've run into trouble with that. Electric this month was $177.97. It was up because it was cold and I like to be warm. Though the house average temperature is about 68, 69 degrees, just because my husband overheats when it's any warmer than that in the house. So I think that's pretty good. We do balance that pretty well. And when he's not home, I will kick it up because he's not here and I'm cold. So again, tithe, we're $138.31. This is a new pay every month that we're paying for tithe. That includes the processing fee, a little extra there. We're doing life insurance for me and my family, $87.56. Justin aged out of our family life insurance, and we got him a policy for him is $33.16. And the policy I got was like the max you can get for him. So there's that. And then Discovery Plus was $8.99. Vivint was $65.82. Apple.com is $2.99. USCCA is my husband's. That is $39.17. And then Amazon Digital, $3.24. I'm not sure if I want to keep that or not. We'll see. And then I added something new. I added Roth IRA right here. So I have fully funded my Roth IRA. I am 49 years old. But when I turn 50, I can go from $7,000 to $8,000. I could probably do it now, but I'm going to save up for this. So we have 10 months in the year. If you do $100 a month between now and December each month, then guess what? That is $1,000. So I'm going to do $100 here. Now I might put this in Paycheck 1 going forward, but because I didn't think of it until after Paycheck 1 was already started and I was setting up Paycheck 2, I decided to put it here. So we'll see how I set it up next month, but this is what I'm doing this month, and I want to transfer that into our money market account and build that up so that we can get as much interest as possible. And it's just going to sit there until I'm ready to do my contribution for $1,000 at the end of the year. And then starting in 2025, I have to figure out how I'm going to fund 2025, because I've always saved the previous year for the next year, and next year will be the first year I'll be contributing directly into the Roth IRA instead of funding it fully at the beginning of the year. It's a little different, but because the income has changed and things like that, I wanted to be cautious and make sure that I was taking care of myself and the family, and tried not to squeeze too much money out when I could have hold off for a little while. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm going to put 24 right there so I know it's 2024. And we're going to total these numbers and be right back. Okay, so right now I have spending on my expenses here, $1,383.72. Now I get to put the budget amount for our spending categories. Usually these are the fixed bills and these are the variable. I don't label it that way, but you can think of it that way if you want to. And so we're going to go ahead and put that information down. Now, this is what's left in the budget after I finished with Paycheck 1 time period, or week 1 and week 2 of the weekly check-in. Here's my weekly spending. This is the total for the month. This is what I have left for week 3, week 4, and then week 5. So I've set up week 3. We haven't got to week 4 or week 5 yet. And so these are the amounts I'm working with, plus anything that was left over in Paycheck 1 that wasn't spent. Or I drop it down if it was spent and I spent a little more than I should. So for the category. So these are the actual numbers. I'm not going to go through all the math with that, but I'm just going to write them down and I'll be right back. Okay, so there we are. I had $898.33 for grocery household. That is going to be plenty to get me to the end of the month, from the 15th to the 31st. The restaurants are $280.18. Miscellaneous is $305.66. Gas is $185.71. And copay is $75 for the rest of the month. I don't budget for unbudgeted, but if I use it in my weekly check-ins, then I can put that here. If I feel like it's not something that belongs in the weekly check-in, I can make it a bill and put it here in my Paycheck 2 if it's coming out of the checking account, or put it on the credit card, just depending on what it is. If it's really, really big, like $1,000 or something like that, I'm not going to put it on my weekly check-in. I'm going to put it here as an extra expense. That works best for me. So now I'm going to get this bright colored little sticky note here. And we're going to write this, I don't have the amount just yet. So what we're going to do is take this $4,229, and we're going to subtract the $1,383.72 and subtract the $1,744.88. There we go. And that leaves, at the end of the month, $1,100.58. So that is that. Now, going forward, I probably won't have this much as a buffer in my checking account. What the plan is to make sure that I have that month's income covering everything in that month. So this kind of was what was left that bounced forward from the previous month. My budget is extremely tight if I don't have extra money in the account from another month or from savings. And that's where this money came from originally. It was money we were using from savings to pay our bills for the first 2 months of the year, January and February, until my husband got his first paycheck, which was the 1st of March. So we were living off of savings. And so that's where this money actually came from. That was left over from those 2 time periods, those 2 months. And I'm going to be moving this back into savings. And then the numbers are going to get smaller as far as the buffer of the checking account. So that's going to be interesting going forward. So, but I think everything's going to turn out well. I usually always stay in my balances pretty decently. And yeah, I'm excited about that. So that is it. That is Paycheck 2. It is set up and ready to go. We went through Paycheck 1 and just kind of showed what happened, the fun and the not so fun. And then the blessed. So I really feel like everything is set up and we're ready to go and finish out the month of March. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
As a young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful